Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Dante Centofanti.
And I'm Austin Arnold.
The Kent State men's basketball team traveled to Cleveland for a playoff matchup with the Ohio Bobcats in the opening round of the MAC tournament. Let's go to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse for the highlights because TV2 was there with the extensive coverage that you need. Early, a pass to Malik Jacobs. He drives it in for an easy layup. Malik Jacobs had quite a game here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on a very windy afternoon in Cleveland, Ohio. Again, Malik Jacobs, this time from wide open for two to give the Flashes in the game, to keep them in the game. But then Vanderplease kicks it out to Jason Preston for a bucket off the glass and one opportunity. Ohio's offense keeps the game in motion, and they get it to Preston once again, and this time it's an outside J for three-corner pocket, and he had quite a game from three as well, Austin. Long pass to Malik Jacobs, who tosses it up for a three and gives more points for the Flashes. He finished with 16 points in this contest, but it was all Jason Preston and the Ohio University Bobcats as he takes it to the rack for another bucket. But there was no stopping him. He had 19 points on the day to lead the Bobcats in this Mid-American Conference tournament game, and another one stolen by Preston. The Bobcats would roll in this game as they won 85-63.
There's a lot to learn from this. A lot to work this offseason for next year. Everybody, me, the team, you just got to be better. Keep working out, keep getting better each day, and just attack the summer. Get as much better as you can. Everybody, including myself. I got to be better. I got to be a better leader. I got to be better. So. Now,
Austin, you want to talk about great performances from the field. Ohio, outside of Jason Preston having just a tremendous game, they shot 58.8 from the field and 50% from three. That had a large part to do with why they eventually became Mid-American Conference champions.
At 100% it did. When you have a guy like Jason Preston shooting the way he did, not just this game, but it was the whole tournament, Dante. This man completely dismantled every team that stood in his way, and he found a way to get it done. But regardless, for Kent State going into next year, they are going to have a hefty amount of people returning, assuming that eligibility is granted to guys like Mike Nuga, Danny Pippen, Tervel Beck. We could see them back in the fold because the NCAA did say that due to COVID, you could get an extra season. So this Kent State team has a lot to look forward to. All hope is not lost, and they just played a very good Ohio basketball team.
Indeed, we all know when Mike Nuga and Danny Pippen are on the floor, Kent State can pretty much compete with anybody in the Mid-American Conference, but unfortunately, that was not the case Thursday at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Yeah, with Ohio eventually becoming the MAC champs, but we'll get to that later on in the show. Let's go ahead and get to the Kent State women's side of things. Deasia Fair, she'll drive and get a nice two-point basket for the Buffalo Bulls. Later on, step back, pull three, let me cock and get it in there for three-pointer for the Buffalo. But Kate Shoemate, she will score off the three-pointer. Hannah Young, she had a great game with 15 points, 6 of 9 shooting. Nyla Blackford, she'll miss here. She will later on get the rebound. And then Hannah Young again, as we see Nyla Blackford. Hannah Young yet again, she'll drive and pull up for the easy two. Buffalo with Jessica Schiffler for three from downtown. This game was close to the very end. Mariah Mawkins, not one three, but you're going to get a double dose and get a second three to put the Kent State Golden Flashes within three. But in the end, it was too much to handle. Kent State will go on to lose 66-73. We have Coach Todd Starkey after the game.
I guess at the end of the day, I'm just really proud of our players for, what they were able to overcome this year and just get to Cleveland. It was a tough game. Buffalo for 4 years in a row. I mean, it's obviously it's a tough matchup for anybody in the tournament against Buffalo. I mean, they're a very physical team. They've got one of the most dynamic scorers in the country. Yeah, I mean, we're excited about the future. We built the program around these two recruiting classes that are coming through as juniors and sophomores, and they've been really big so far, and we expect even bigger things in the near future.
Now, Dante, the future of this Kent State women's team does look very bright, as Todd Starkey did say in the post-game interview. They did build the program, and they do have 11 out of 12 key players returning for next year. How do you see them playing it out next year without the COVID?
I see them coming back with, an ample amount of starters. Coach Starkey is one of the great leaders in the Mid-American Conference. I mean, it's like you saw somebody who truly was proud of his players, and he has every right to be. You know, in this time, you know, COVID-19, you know, for any athletic team, you know, to persevere the way they did, because there's been many ups and downs in this regular season. It did stink to see the way the season ended at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, because they did not have a very good performance offensively, defensively especially, in what I saw when I was there. But going forward, I really like the state that this program's in, because they have great leaders, they always have solid recruiting classes, and they have an ample amount of starters returning next year, so sky's the limit. They have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This Kent State team, they do have the returning players coming back. The foundation is set. Now it's time to build off the success that you had this year. And early on, you had your struggles. You had to miss part of the season due to COVID, but now you get the pedal to the metal next year. And from the hardwood to the diamond, could the Kent State Golden Flashes sink the Seton Hall Pirates ship on Saturday? Find out when we come back.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
We might root for different teams, but we all respect the game. And we can all root for each other when we wear a mask. Mask up, America.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fun. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing,
Yeah.
is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
Welcome back to Sports Corner, everybody. The Kent State men's baseball team took the diamond over the weekend against Seton Hall, and this one was a doozy from the start. This 3-run bomb from Thomas Holdorf for the Seton Hall Pirates put them up early in the game, and then later on, this diving catch by Kent State's Kevin Lobos to end the inning for Kent State, and then later on, Ben Carew, see you later, he says to that ball. Home run. That was 4-3 at that point, Seton Hall. And Kent State, they had an offensive day after that. Mac Timbrook, home run, ties it up at 6-6 for the Flashes. And later on, Colin Matthews in the 7th inning gets a nice RBI triple to make it 9-6. Final score 10-7. Kent State moves to 4-4 on the season. Excuse me, they are better than 4-4. Nice win for the Golden Flashes.
The lacrosse team was looking for their first win of the season in the team's inaugural wagon wheel matchup with the Akron Zips at Dick Stadium. The Zips got on the board first, but after a pair of goals from the power pairing of Abby Jones and Madison Ray Pierre, the Golden Flashes never looked back, extending and maintaining their lead until the final horn. There's no denying the offensive tear that Abby Jones has been on recently, scoring in each game of the season and adding 5 in the battle with Akron. In the 9-8 win, freshman goalie Taylor Montoro earned her first start in the net for the Golden Flashes and posted a career-high 12 save shots. The KSU lacrosse team looks to carry momentum into a Tuesday away game with the Duquesne Dukes.
The Golden Flashes women's soccer team suffered their first loss on the season in a Sunday game in Oxford with the Red Hawks. Kent State looks to stay in their winning ways after their meeting. They tried to against Akron last week, but they found themselves down 2-0 in just the 21st minute. After a pair of goals from Carly Hellstrom and Yasmin Hall that tied things up for Kent State late, The Red Hawks found their way to win. They had the last laugh, 4-2. KSU looks to get back in the swing of things next Sunday as they host the Ohio Bobcats.
And the gymnastics team posted its second best team score of the season to beat BG in the regular season finale on Friday night. Rachel Dikavitich led the day with a career-high 9.9 on the bars, and the 18th-ranked floor lineup for Kent State showed why they are the best in the Mid-American Conference with a score of 49.375. The team's second best of the season. Up next for the Golden Flashes is the MAC Championships on March 20th at 2 p.m. in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
And from gymnastics to the women's golf side of things, the team they tied for 11th this past weekend with Kaylee McGinty shooting -4 over par. And then Corey Nielsen +3 over par, Carly McGinty shot -4 under par, so she had a great afternoon. Marissa Kirkwood shot +7 over par. And then they have the next up Clemson Invitational, which is March 26th to the 28th.
And the track and field teams had 4 participants in this year's Division I Indoor Championships, which were highlighted by junior Gabby Bailey's 6th place finish in shot put with a new personal best. Grace Tennant also represented the Kent State throwers and finished within the top 10 women's shot putters in the nation, but found herself just shy of an inch away from advancing to the finals. Rounding of the throwers for Kent State was senior Jake Wicke, placing 8th nationally for the men's weighted throw. And let's get to the top 5 plays, shall we? Partner Malik Jacobs takes it in for the tough layup, going hard in the paint.
Number 4, Mariah Motkins with the pump fake and hits the 3 off the dribble. Shabam! Puts them within 3.
We got a number 3 diving stop made by Kent State third baseman Kevin Lobos, a pure web gem in Kent.
And Jackie Wolford with the goal. She finds the net.
Colin Matthews gets the bases clearing triple to put Kent State ahead for good in their 10-7 win, and also nets them the number 1 play on our top 5 list. And when we come back, college basketball was crazy this past weekend with championship games being played. We will have you covered when we come back. Is that your piece? I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No,
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Welcome back to Sports Corner. After eliminating the Golden Flashes in the opening round of the MAC tournament, the Ohio Bobcats continued their stretch of dominance all the way to the championship round. After defeating the Toledo Rockets 87-80, the Bobcats faced off with the Buffalo Bulls at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. The Bobcats came out of the gates strong and never looked back, holding a double-digit lead for a majority of the game, led by 22 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals from the star junior guard Jason Preston. Representing the MAC for the 7th time in program history and first time since 2012, the Ohio Bobcats look to carry their dominant play into the NCAA tournament, where they will face off with the Virginia Cavaliers at 7:15 on Saturday.
Let's go ahead and get to the Big Ten championship game. Rebound by Georgie Baje John Eshvili. He gets the and one for the Fighting Illini. Later on, though, Dwayne Washington, man, he has a strap. Three-pointer for him. And then Ao Dosamu with the bucket for Illinois. Ohio State, however, staying in it. Dwayne Washington, another three-pointer for the Buckeyes. He had a game, 32 points for him. DeMonte Williams for the Fighting Illini. He will fight and get to the basket. And then this play right here tied it up at the end of the game to send it to overtime. This was Justice Suing, but it was just too much to handle. The Fighting Illini find a way to win. Andre Curbelo ices it, and the Fighting Illini win this game by a final score of 91-88. Big Ten champs.
Let's go to Nashville SEC Championship. Some elbows moving before the game, words exchange. Hopefully COVID was not exchanged. We go to the first half. Javonte Smart, he's going to kick it to Cameron Thomas, and that is straight cash money. Second play, time winding down in the first half. LSU by 1. Javon Quinterly fakes out Smart, and he takes it to the hoop. Beautiful move by Quinterly. Then tied lead at the half, 37-40. But then Herb Jones in transition for a diaper dandy type dunk. He finished with 13. LSU down by 3 with over 5 remaining. Treadon Watford can steal this hand. I think he can. He ties it at 69. But then 5 minutes to go, tied at 69. Alabama gets the steal in transition. Lob City in Nashville. Juwan Gary with a dunk. Time winding down. Bama leads by 1, and Cameron Thomas finds Watford on the baseline for a clutch and one opportunity. He would miss the free throw, though. The LSU leads with 24 seconds left. And then Herb Jones, he is going to take it coast to coast. He moves through Nashville with the Euro step to give Bama a 1-point lead with 19.5 to go. Then Watford is going to try to win it, and he misses it, but then 2 near-miss putbacks for LSU, and the Fighting James Carvilles will fall to the tide 80-79. LSU is an 8 seed. Bama is a 2 seed.
Let's go ahead and get to the Big 12 championship game, Oklahoma State versus Texas, and look at this alley-oop to Matthew Alexander Moncrief. Wow, what a dunk to start the game off the tip. Kai Jones, he'll drive, he'll give it to Jericho Sims for the slam dunk for the Texas Longhorns. Later on, Avery Anderson would end up getting this ball after the miss at the buzzer for the Cowboys. They would be down 10 at half. Texas, later on, Matt Coleman, he'll get it for 3. Hello, how you doing? Downtown. And Cade Cunningham, this next play, in pretty much just desperation mode for the Cowboys. That's in, all net. But the Cowboys couldn't get it done. Jericho Sims finds his man Kai Jones to ice it. That's the game. Texas wins 91-86. And Longhorns are Big 12 champions.
Let's get to the ACC championship here. First play between Florida State and Georgia Tech. MJ Walker, don't be afraid, shoot the outside J to put the Seminoles deficit 2-3. Then 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Michael DeVoe with a sweet left-hand move as time expires. Florida State up 42-35. Beautiful ball movement here by the Noles. They get the ball to Tanner Engum for a bucket, 44-35 Noles. Then Moses Wright fights for his own rebound and gets to the bucket with force. That would spark a Jackets run. They would lead 50-48. Then MJ Walker is going to take it to the rack. He finished with 15 points. Then Jordan Usher. This man probably had the play of championship week. He fakes a 3 and he takes it in for the slam. Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays. What a beautiful dunk. Let's take a look at this again. Sports Center, probably Sports Corner, top 10. Then Georgia Tech is going to win this game 80-73. This is the first time the Rambling Wreck have won their conference championship since 1993, and they move on to the NCAA tournament with quite a lot of momentum.
Good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. I'm Connor Mills. With the official March Madness bracket out, let's take a look at some of my bold predictions and what you can expect to see in the upcoming weeks.
Connor, which lower seed do you see making an upset in the round of 64?
Despite a slow start to the season, I can see the Hoyas of Georgetown making some noise against 5-seed Colorado. The Hoyas are led by NBA All-Star coach Patrick Ewing and will have a lot to prove after a dominant Big East run. And Colorado was slightly exposed with several close calls in the Pac-12 tournament before getting upset by Oregon State in the finals.
Connor, how well do you expect the Mid-American Conference representative, our conference, Ohio, to perform in this NCAA tournament?
Behind the strength of junior guard Jason Preston, I believe Ohio can cause some serious problems in this year's March Madness bracket. Ohio is 9-1 in their past 10 games, and in addition, the Bobcats can put up points in bunches. Preston led the team with 22.7 points per game during the MAT tournament, and with Virginia having several COVID cases, we may not see the Cavaliers at full strength for their first-round matchup.
Connor, do you see any other sleeper teams making an impact felt and busting anyone's perfect bracket?
After years of becoming a staple of March Madness history in the early years of the 2010s, I expect the Orangemen of Syracuse to possibly make an upset and knock out some higher seeds in the Midwest bracket. In the ACC tournament, Syracuse only lost to number 1 seed Virginia by 3 points, and in the Orangemen's last 2 times of being in the bid dance as double-digit seeds, they've made the Sweet 16 and the Final Four.
Before we get into your Final Four predictions, who do you see as the favorite to win it all this year?
After several years of disappointing early round exits, I see the Ohio State Buckeyes making their first March Madness championship since the 2006-2007 season. During the regular season, Ohio State had a serious hot streak, reaching the top 2 in the AP polls, but seemed to drift off towards the end of the season. I truly believe that the Buckeyes are a tournament-style team, and there will definitely be madness in Columbus come April 5th. And now for my Final Four prediction. In the return of the Big Ten Championship, I have Ohio State facing Illinois and getting the redemption against the Fighting Illini. And on the other side of the bracket, I have another conference matchup as I have the Big 12 powerhouses, Kansas and Texas, facing off. Kansas returning to the bid dance. And in a rematch of the 2012 Final Four matchup, I have Ohio State beating Kansas in the national championship.
All right, let's get to my Final Four. I have Gonzaga, Michigan, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State. Now, I know what you're wondering. Dante, you're nuts. You're always nuts. Oklahoma State has no chance of making the Final Four. But they do. They have NBA talent on their side. They have a plethora of shooters. They have a plethora of defenders. They have a very, very well-balanced attack team. And I know they fell short against Texas in the Big 12 championship, but I have all the confidence in the world that Oklahoma could get to the final. But you know what? It could change in the next 4 days. So follow me on Twitter to see my latest March Madness predictions.
We're going to go ahead and get to my Final Four now. As you can see, I have Iowa, Michigan. They'll play off on the one side, and then on the other side, you'll have Ohio State and Illinois. I believe Ohio State gets the better end of the deal the second time around after the Big Ten Championship loss. And then I think Michigan's going to beat Iowa. I just don't know if Iowa's made out for this whole March Madness down the stretch type run. Then I have a rematch with Michigan and Ohio State. In a 1-1 series matchup, give me Ohio State to win it all. And when we come back, we have our award-winning segments, the Magic Money Line, Centofanti selections, and of course, our Men on the Silver Mountain. So do not turn that dial. We'll be right back.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Welcome back to Sports Corner, everybody. Let's now get to the famous Magic money line. We went 2-1 last week, so we're 6-9 on the year. We're doing all March Madness, and I'm going crazy this week. I think Cleveland State gets it done over the number 2 seed Houston Cougars, plus 1,400 for the Cleveland State Vikings. Dennis Gates has been very good this year, and they will get it done. Have my word. Then I'm also taking Georgia Tech, the plus 118 underdog over Loyola Chicago. And then UC Santa Barbara, the plus 235 underdog over Creighton. They will get it done. I expect to go 2-1 or better this week.
Recently in Oklahoma, an Oklahoma high school broadcaster was caught using racist language towards the Norman High School women's basketball team in response to the team choosing to kneel during the national anthem. He was caught on a hot microphone, not realizing he was being heard. The Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activities Association has announced that the network he is employed by will no longer broadcast any more games during its championships. This brings us many problems in our society, but obviously racism being number one. But these players were just kids. Let me repeat that. They are just kids, and these poor girls did not deserve to be downgraded by this broadcaster. We need to treat high school athletes in America with more respect, period, and act like adults in a setting where they are the focus of attention.
My man on the Silver Mountain for this week is one of the all-time greats when it comes to coaching, and that's Bill Belichick. And for the longest time, the Patriots they weren't even spending very good in free agency, but then they spent like crazy today. Jalen Mills, Matt Judon, Jonnu Smith, Cam Newton, and they have done more since that. This stat jumps out with how much they haven't spent in 10 years. They've spent $360 million come free agency. They've spent the first 3 hours by $150 million when it comes to that.
And let's get to my men on the Silver Mountain. Oh, didn't see you there. My men on the Silver Mountain are the 2021 MAC Tournament champion Ohio Bobcats. Ohio is in the big dance for the 14th time in program history, and they will be representing our great conference as they take on the defending national champion Virginia Cavaliers in the first round. I had the privilege of covering the first round game Kent State played against Ohio, and Ohio plays well as a unit. Led by Jason Preston and forward Dwight Wilson, the Bobcats should have a solid matchup Friday as they take on the Hoos in Indiana. And thank you for welcoming us into your homes this weekend. For all of us at TV2 Sports, have a wonderful week.